Fast Forward Productions. The women are speaking.
But I figured it out before I got that interview. And then I got the job. The difference between me and someone else is that if they said, do you think you're going to pass that Excel test in 3 days doing things you've never done before? Someone else might say, I can't do that. And the difference is I said, I can't do that. And I continued to say, I can do that. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Below 14th Street, a little mini series inside the Unfiltered Entrepreneur, where I like to tell you my wild and crazy stories from the fashion industry. And this one is a little bit about me as a person, but also how me being a total yes man was the best thing for my career. Now, this is going to piss you off if you're a boundaries gal, because I'm going to tell you right now, being a yes man means you have pretty flexible boundaries. Now, I know my limits. I know what is a no for me. I know what I'm not interested in. I know what doesn't make me feel comfortable. But I very much made a commitment to myself in my 20s where I said, in my 20s, I want to work literally as hard as humanly possible. It's going to pay off in my 30s, and I'm probably going to never have to work again in my 40s. It's panning out to look that way. My 20s set me up for so much success that in my 30s, I'm now running these businesses. You know, I'm putting a lot of money away in savings, which is incredible, and I have been, but there's something about the work that I did in my 20s that shaped me into a person that made me more successful in my 30s. And the reason for that is because I was not lackadaisical. I wasn't trying to have a very chill life in my 20s, which helped me learn how to spin a lot of plates, how to be resilient, how to be nimble, how to think on my feet. And I also really became somebody who wasn't very defensive. So now, when things come up, I'm not angry if something's pushing me close to the edge because I don't really have many edges. I'm here, I'm down to clown, man. I'm like in it to win it. In it to have fun. And me being a yes man has really contributed to that. And I want to tell you about a couple of ways that a yes man has given me some pretty cool opportunities. But I also want to tell you how it got me the job at Prada, because your girl's fucking crazy. If you don't know that by now, you should know that. I'm not well in the head sometimes, okay? But one thing I want you to know is that when I was working for a particular well-known company that I would say every single one of you know, I was an account manager. I was doing the same kind of job a lot of people in my industry do. I wasn't necessarily in a job of like seniority, and I did a phenomenal job. I was always one of the best at my job everywhere that I went. I competed to always be doing super well. I also was not stepping on anyone's neck to get there. I wasn't like a total asshole to work for, but I was competing in my job. I wanted to be the best, and I typically was one of the best. Now, when I was working, I remember there was a time when I was an account manager, just standard position in a company, in a sales position, ton of money that I was managing, but the CEO of the business, which was a big company, the CEO requested a certain report, and the CFO did not want to do it. And they said, does anyone here want to do this report for the CEO? And I said, I'll do it. There's no reason I'm going to be in a room with the CEO. First of all, his office is in another country, so I don't think I'm ever going to be really around him. But this is a report that I know how to do. I could figure out some of the things that I don't know just with a Google search or a YouTube video. I'm resourceful. I'm smart. I could do this report, and my name will be attached to it when it gets submitted to him. So I'd be happy to do it. I do this report. I don't necessarily like pour over it by any means, but I do a good job. And it gets to the CEO. He's very impressed. And what happened is a little bit crazy. What happened is that when he received this report, he was so blown away, so impressed that he actually invited me on a massive South American tour of all of these different partners and meetings, etc. And the CFO wasn't invited. And I was like 27. And I was like, he thought this was such great reporting, so thorough, so organized, formatted perfectly, no hiccups. I want you to come on this trip with me. Now, at first, I was a little bit like, should I be uncomfortable about this? Like, we're having a Me Too moment. Do I need to be worried about taking a trip to South America with the male CEO of this business? Thankfully, I had heard nothing but great, respectful things, and I knew how to speak up for myself if something happened. And our HR actually had a very cool conversation where they were like, if there's any time, if there's ever a point that you feel uncomfortable, let us know. We'll pull you off the trip, but also we'll take action. But like, we just want you to know that we're in your court. So I go on this trip with the CEO. We go all over South America, all expenses paid. And we're going to bougie lunches, bougie dinners. We're meeting all these like high profile people. Like it was so wild. We go to Chile, we go to Uruguay, we go to Brazil, and we're in Sao Paulo, and we're like in the Amazon. Like it was so unbelievable. And I can't even tell you the story of getting my visa, or I'll have a panic attack right now because it was the craziest experience also of my life. But I got to go on this fucking trip to South America and travel around and see these countries. And we were in and out of airports, and I was religiously taking notes at these meetings and doing research and prepping documents and prepping PowerPoints and like working in a car, in the back of a car. Like it was so crazy. There was a ransom threat that the home office got that was like, we have your CEO and his assistant. You have to pay us $500,000, $500 million. Or something crazy like that. And they almost paid it because they couldn't get in touch with us. It was a wild experience. But I go to South America with the CEO of the business, literally outside of like our hour-long meetings, the whole time we were together. So we were going to meals together. We were sometimes going with partners, but we were in the airport together. We were in the lounge together. We were on the plane together. We were like doing everything together. And we got to know each other very well. And he got to learn more about me. He got to learn more about what I'm wanting to do and where I see my career going, which is very different now. And he probably would be shocked to hear about it. But we developed a closeness, which I thought was very exciting, that I thought was very special. And, you know, there were some things throughout my career at that company, because I was there for a while, that he really took care of me. I can't help but think that part of the reason I was kept on the team is because he had an affinity for me. He believed in me. And for the record, I never once felt that he was inappropriate. I never once felt disrespected. I never once felt uncomfortable. I just want to put it out there in case people can put two and two together what company this is. A gem of a man, incredibly kind, incredibly respectful. My point is, I do think that he had developed a little bit of like a mentorship feel to me. And when my team got laid off, I was one of the two people that kept their job. And it was a really crazy, crazy time. But that is just goes to show being a yes man and how that can pay off. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is how I got the job at Prada. Now, Prada is a well-oiled machine. And what's interesting about a well-oiled machine is that I really thought that's where I wanted to work. I thought I want to work somewhere that has their shit together. I want to work somewhere that is established and esteemed. I come in, I do my job, and I can easily escalate through the business, which you can do at Prada. It might take a lot of time, but you can definitely do that. And it is a well-oiled machine. It is such a well-oiled machine that they give you the pen and the pencil and the notepad and the Post-it notes and the trash can, and you only can use those products. You can't have anything personal on your desk. You can't have anything of color. Every single thing you use in the office has to be Prada. It's like being in a jail cell. It was almost too sterile. But that's a story for another day. My point is, I wanted to get the job at Prada. I didn't want to get the job at Prada because I was a massive fan of the brand. I'm not. If you know the brand Prada and really what they tried to create for, it's kind of like an artsy, fartsy, well-to-do, eclectic artist that they tried to design for. Your girl's not that. You know, she's the girl like walking around in her sweatpants saying like, where can I find the closest fucking hamburger? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, not exactly the Prada queen over here. I wasn't trying to get into Prada because I was like, oh my God, I want all this free product. I know from working in the fashion industry that the higher the price point, the less free shit you're going to get. That's just the cookie, how it crumbles. So I knew all those things. So why would I go take the job at Prada? Because your girl knows a door opening opportunity when she sees one. And I actually took a major pay cut to go to Prada because I knew if I spend just a little bit of time here, you will never be able to take that off my resume. You can never take off my resume that I worked at Prada because I did. Now, did I spend 10 years there? No, but I spent a year and that was enough for me and I fucking daddled. You know why? Because I actually didn't want a well-oiled machine. I wanted to work. I wanted to learn. I wanted to be thrown in the deep end and see if I can swim. And your girl was fucking Michael Phelps when she got thrown into that deep end. She went pop, 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 like we blew off into the Astroverse. I don't know if that's a thing. But you get what I'm saying. I really wanted like crazy, but I didn't know that until I got the job at Prada. And how I got the job at Prada over all these, I think it was like truly like almost 100 people they were interviewing, was because I lied. Now, is lying bad? Yes. But this is a lie I will say until the end of time, and that I recommend everybody say till the end of time, which is 4 quick and simple words. And these 4 words are going to change your life. They're going to change the way that you discuss things with clients. They're going to change the way that you show up in your business. These 4 simple words. And it all comes down to, are you a yes man? Those aren't the 4 words. The 4 words are, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. For sure, I can do that. Now, when I interviewed at Prada, there were so many rounds of interviews. I mean, like, I was basically a full-time employee with how many fucking interviews I was going on with this company. How many doctor's appointments can you lie about when you're in corporate to like get over to another office halfway across town to interview with someone? But in one of my final interviews, they said, okay, the next interview is an Excel test. You have to take a test on how to use Excel. We want everybody to be able to know how to do a VLOOKUP, a sum-if formula, and create a macro. And I was pretty good on Excel, but I was good at like basic Excel. I wasn't good at like really advanced formula, VLOOKUP, sum-if, macro Excel. And the girl interviewing me looked at me and said, do you think you'll pass the Excel test? And I said, I can do that. I had never done one in my life. But I thought, it's a Friday. Even if that interview is Monday, the girls, I got 2 days. I can learn a VLOOKUP and a sum-if and a macro in 2 days. I can do that. I can do that. Now, that is me being a yes man. I love a yes man. I love a yes man. I love it when someone I'm working with or when a client of mine or with someone on my team, if I say, hey, what if we did this? And they say, I'll do it. I can learn that. I can do that. Instead of, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can learn that. I'm running up against these like moments when I was developing teams in corporate, when I was developing talent under me at corporate, when I work with my full-time team, where you can kind of tell who's going to make it and who's not based on, do they say, I can do that? Those 4 words. And those 4 words will tell you a lot about a person. Are they resourceful? Are they eager? Are they someone who likes a challenge? Do they like to learn? Do they feel fine being bad at something? Are they okay being new to something? All of that is the key to ambition. You're an ambitious motherfucker if you're like, I don't know how to do that, but I know for a fact I can learn. That's ambition wrapped up in a nutshell, paired with I want to go really far. If you want to go really far and you have no interest in actually learning how to do it, you're not that ambitious. You're just a really great dreamer. And we love that for you. But that action of I can do that, that is what takes somebody who's a dreamer into someone who's ambitious, who's a hustler, who does drive, who pushes themselves. And it's such an invigorating, dynamic workplace scenario when you have a team full of yes men. And I want you to be someone who's a yes man. I got the job. I learned the VLOOKUP. I learned the sum-if formula. I learned how to use a macro. I literally worked with a tutor last minute, paid them like $300 that I didn't have, and learned how to do it. I took free YouTube videos. That didn't work because that was too hard. But I figured it out before I got that interview. And then I got the job. The difference between me and someone else is that if they said, do you think you're going to pass that Excel test in 3 days doing things you've never done before? Someone else might say, I can't do that. And the difference is I said, I can't do that. And I continued to say, I can do that. For instance, when clients say, hey, does your agency offer public relations? Yeah, we can do that. Do you guys offer Pinterest services? Yeah, we can do that. That is the key. You are not an ambitious person if you've got the dreams and not the I can figure it out attitude. I've got this. There's nothing I can't learn. Not even can I learn it. I can learn it quickly. I can do that. I can do that. That is such a fun energy to have in business. And when you start to become that person, you're going to see so many opportunities open up. People like to work with the I can do this person. So that's my challenge for you. Can you become the I can do this person? Because that is a fun motherfucker to have around. I'll tell you that. Anyway, I'll catch you next time on the Unfiltered Entrepreneur. And if you're like, I can't listen to another episode of Ashley Pollard, I just want you to remember, I can do that. And I'll see you next time. Corny, and I love it. Before we go, there's a couple things I want you to remember on these episodes. I'm obviously all about helpful information and telling stories about my life. And part of being a human telling her story means that even though I'm trying my best, my memory may not always be serving me perfectly. Some facts in here might end up being inaccurate or changed or incorrect. If I get a date wrong or a specific place where I was at, just know that I'm doing my best to recall from memory and piecing these stories together from you. There's also some cases where I may have changed a name or something that can refer back to a specific person so that I don't cause controversy with someone or a brand, and make sure that everybody is protected. Doesn't change the point of these stories. They're all still my own, and these are all actual experiences from my life. So the stories themselves are not fabricated. They're just maybe some details that maybe I got wrong from memory, or maybe that I'm trying to cover up so that everybody who listens feels protected and we can laugh and enjoy ourselves. Thank you for listening.